Hi, in this video I would like to show you how I make a sweater with Raglan decrease. The advantage with this method of making a sweater is that you have no assembly work afterwards. You have no sticking and no sewing besides attaching loose yarn ends and fixing a few small holes like these under the sleeves. So it is less work when you have finished knitting the pieces. The Raglan decrease itself is 8 decreases in one round. You have one here, one here, one here, and one here, and the same on the other side. And I have 2 stitches that go here in the middle stitches, and the decreases on each side. And here there are room for some variation. You can make only one middle stitch, or you can make a cable or some other pattern here if you like. But this one is the one I'm going to show in this video. And I will begin step by step from where I make these holes where I attach the sleeves. I show you how I knit the sleeves and body onto the same needle, and the decrease itself. For those who need instructions on how to make the body and sleeves from the beginning, I have videos that will show you that. I will place links to those at the end of this video. But now I think I will just get started. Here I have the body of the sweater, and I have arrived at the point where I'm going to cast off a few stitches in each side for the attaching of the sleeves. And I have done some preparations before I begin, and you can see here, this is the beginning and end of my round, and I'm going to cast off 11 stitches in each side for the sleeves, and I have divided those 11 stitches as equally as possible on each side of this join between the beginning and end of my round. I have placed a marker in each side here just to help me keep track of which stitches that I should cast off, and I have done the same in the other side. So, and halfway in my round is here, so I have divided the stitches equally into front piece and back piece. So I have just counted from the beginning of my round, I have just counted half the stitches, and then I have gone from here and counted 5 stitches and 6 stitches just to or I think this will be 6 stitches and 5 stitches because I begun with 5 here. So I have 11 stitches between my markers here and 11 stitches between my markers here, and I have the same amount of stitches in each side, in each piece here, in the front and in the back. And when I have done this, I am ready to begin to cast off. The reason why I divide the stitches here on each side instead of doing every stitch, all the stitches in the beginning or the end of my round, is simply because I would like to have this join exactly under one sleeve. And it is also easier if I were to knit some stranded color work pattern. It would make it easier for me to keep the pattern symmetrical in the front and the back. So I will begin to cast off. I have 5 stitches here inside my marker, and I begin by knitting 2 stitches, and then I take the first stitch, the one on the right, I slip it over the second one and off the needle. Now I have cast off 1 stitch. I knit the second, I take the stitch on the right, slip it over and off the needle. I have cast off 2 stitches, and I continue 3, 4, 5, and after that I just continue to knit until I reach my next marker, and then I will get back to you. And I do so here. Now I have arrived close to halfway in my round, and I am here with my next marker, and here in between these 2 markers I have the 11 stitches that I will cast off for the second sleeve. And I do as I showed you before. I knit 2, pick up the stitch on the right, slip it over and off the needle, 1 stitch cast off. 2 stitches cast off, and I'll just continue until I have done all 11 stitches. And for some it may seem a bit strange that when I get to my second marker here, let's see, there, I am also going to knit the stitch on the other side and cast off. And this is because I have 1 stitch left to cast off between my markers. Now I have cast off 10 stitches, so I need to knit the first one after the marker and cast off the last stitch. So now I have cast off all the stitches between the markers, and I have just knitted the first one after. So now I'll continue again to knit the stitches on the back piece, and I will get back to you when I reach the end of my round. Now I am back at the end of my round. Here you can see where I started, and here I have my last marker. So I will just cast off the last 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and after the 5th stitch I'm left with the last stitch here, which I will simply pull. I will cut the yarn, of course. Now I'm at the end of my ball of yarn, so I'll just pull the whole thing through like this. That was the last stitch. So now I have cast off 11 stitches in this side for one sleeve, and I have cast off 11 stitches in the other side for the second sleeve, and I am left with equal stitch number on front and back piece. I have done the same with the sleeves. I have cast off 11 stitches in each sleeve, and here I have the beginning of my round. I have done increases on each side of one middle stitch. So I have cast off the middle stitch and 5 stitches on each side of it. And I've done that on both sleeves. And the next thing I am going to show you is how I attach the sleeves onto the body. Now I will begin to attach the sleeves onto the body. I have the beginning of my round here, or now after my cast off it is here, and I have attached my new working yarn here, so that I have one less thing to be concerned about when I attach the sleeve. And here I have the first sleeve, and what I do is that I find this is the cast off part on the sleeve, and here it is on the body. I make sure they go towards each other like this, and then I have right side facing right side. And then I can begin to simply knit all the sleeve stitches onto my circular needle here. So just begin like this, and I try to keep the stitches a bit tight, at least the first couple stitches, just to make sure that the gap between the body and the sleeve is as small as possible. And now, because I have attached a new yarn here, I can also pull this a bit to make them go closer. And what I will do now is simply to knit all the sleeve stitches onto this needle, and when I have done so, I will get back to you with the next step. Now I have knitted all my sleeve stitches onto my circular needle. Here you can see the cast off part on the sleeve and on the body. They go towards each other like that. And here I have the stitches for my front piece. And what I do now is simply to continue to knit these stitches. And I make sure that the first stitch I knit is a bit tight and that it goes close to the last stitch on the sleeve. And that is just to minimize the gap that forms here. And now I will just continue to knit all the stitches on the front piece, and when I arrive, let's see, here, I will do the same. I attach the second sleeve, I knit all the stitches on this side of the cast off, and then I knit the second sleeve onto the circular needle, and then I connect here as I just did on this side, and then I will continue to knit all the stitches on my back piece until I reach the end of my round. And when I get here, I will get back to you with the next step. Now I am back at the beginning of my round. This is the first sleeve that I attached, and I will now begin the raglan decrease itself. And I will have 2 middle stitches in my decrease, and those 2 middle stitches will be the last stitch from the front or back piece, depending on where you are at in the round, and the first or last stitch on the sleeve. So these 2 stitches will be the middle stitches, and I will decrease with the next 2 stitches on each side. I have the beginning of my round here, so I will make a decrease on this side only now at the beginning, and I will continue and work my way around and decrease on the other side of this sleeve, and here on each side of the second sleeve, and I will do my last decrease when I get to the end of my round. And this is the way I choose to do it now. The pattern you are following may place the beginning of the round somewhere else, and this can have some variations, but the way of doing it is the same, but you may begin the round somewhere else. So what I will do is that I will begin to knit the middle stitch, the first stitch on the sleeve, and then I will do the decrease on the left side of the middle stitches, and when I decrease on the left side, I simply knit 2 stitches together. I bring my needle through 2 stitches from the left and towards the right, and I simply knit them together like this. Then I will continue to knit all the sleeve stitches except for the last 3. I stop when I have 3 stitches left on the sleeve, the 2 stitches that I will use for my decrease, and the first middle stitch. So I will just knit my way through the sleeve stitches. And here I have the join between the sleeve and the body, and these will be my 2 middle stitches, So this is the middle stitch on the sleeve, and these are the one I use for the decrease. So I have 4 more stitches to go. 2, 3, 4. And now I will begin by doing the decrease on the right side of the middle stitches, and then I will do a slip slip knit decrease. And what I do is that I slip these 2 stitches by bringing my needle through from the left and towards the right, like this, and I do the same on the second stitch. Then I take my left needle and I bring it through both stitches from the left and towards the right, and I knit them together. Then I knit the 2 middle stitches, and I knit the next 2 stitches together because they are the decrease on the left side of my middle stitches, like this. And now you can see that the decrease here on the right side of the middle stitches, it leans from right and towards the left. It leans towards the middle stitches, and the same thing happens here. The stitches lean from the left towards the right, towards the middle stitches. And this may, when I do it like this, it makes the decrease look a little bit more symmetrical. So now I will just continue to knit all the stitches on my front piece, and I will get back to you when I arrive at the second sleeve, or more correctly when I have 3 stitches left before the join between the front piece and the second sleeve. Now I have knitted all these stitches, and I have arrived 3 stitches before the join between the front piece and the second sleeve. And I will just repeat on the right side of my middle stitches. I slip slip knit by bringing my right needle through the stitches from left to right, like this. I stick my left needle through both stitches from left towards right, and I knit them together. Then I knit the 2 middle stitches, and for my decrease on the left side of the middle stitches, I bring my needle through both stitches from left and towards right and knit them together. And now I will continue to knit the sleeve stitches until there are 3 stitches left, and then I'll get back to you with the finishing of this first round of the Raglan decrease. And so I have knitted all the sleeve stitches except for the last 3 before the join between this sleeve and here the back piece. And again, for the decrease on the right side of my middle stitches, I slip, slip, and knit. And knit the 2 middle stitches, and the next 2 stitches I knit together. And now I continue to knit the back piece, and I will get back to you when I have 3 stitches left of this round. And here I am at the end of my round. I have 3 stitches left. Here I have the beginning of my round where I knitted the first middle stitch and did the first decrease. So I have the decrease on the right side of my middle stitches left. And I will just slip, slip, and knit them together and knit the last middle stitch. So that was the first round of my raglan decrease. For the second round I will simply knit all the stitches, no decreasing, just knit stockinette like this. And when I arrive here at the end of my round, I will make a new set of decreases, and then I will knit 1 round again. So I will decrease in every second round until I have the number of decreases that I want before I maybe want to shape the neck opening. So now I will knit some rounds and make some more decreases, and I will get back to you and show you what it looks like when I have done a little bit more than this. Now I have knitted a few rounds of raglan decrease, and this is what the result looks like. So here I have my slip, slip, knit, decrease. Here are my 2 middle stitches, which makes a band or column up towards the shoulder, and here are my knit 2 together decreases. So this is what the result looks like when I make this type of decrease to connect the sleeves to the sweater. And the next step now to finish this sweater would be to begin to shape the neck opening. I have another video where I show how I do that, and you will probably right now see a link on this side to that video. So if you are interested in how I make the neck opening and the neck for this sweater to complete the raglan decrease, then just click on that and you will be taken right there. And that's it for now, and thank you for watching.